Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's episode. On this week's episode, you will hear about how confidence can affect your career. If you never thought about it, just know that it can affect your career, and it is a major factor that plays a big role in your success. So if you're excited, then just sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode. Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's episode. Today, I will be talking about how confidence can affect your career. Now, I want to take it back to my childhood. I used to be very confident. I was a very outgoing and the bubbly person. Everywhere I went, I wanted to make friends. I had a ton of friends. My sister and I would always throw birthday parties and we would always invite our our friends over. I'd get invited to birthday parties and pool parties, so I was just very outgoing. And then I touched on this in my introduction video, but one day I started to get made fun of for the way I spoke, and that really took a toll on me. I stopped talking as much. I didn't have as many friends. And overall, I was just very sad, and I let what that person said control how I lived. So, a girl that was very confident, outgoing, very bubbly, very bright was now a reserved, closed off and quiet girl. I no longer had many friends. Whenever I did have the opportunity to make a friend, I would avoid it or I would try keep that friend, but then talk to no one else. I remember at church, I felt very subconscious about the way I spoke, and this was when I was very little. Now, mind you, when I first went into that church, I was trying to make friends with everybody. I mean, if I saw a group of people, I would walk over to them and say, "Hey, can I join your group? Can I be your friend?" And nine times out of 10, it would work. But then when I started getting made fun of for it, it just all changed. And I really didn't have as many friends as I did when I wasn't getting made fun of for it. It was very hard, especially my high school year. Now, one thing about me is if I'm not pushed or forced to do something, I, I then I won't do it. If my parents never told me that I had to go to high school or college or co-op, I never would have done it because I was that scared. I was so scared to go to high school because of being made fun of, because I would always watch these movies about, the bullying a kid, you know what I'm saying? And I always thought that if I went to school, to public school, then I would be that kid that got bullied. And I did not want that. I dreaded going to high school, and I wished that I could always be homeschooled. But I went, and on my first day, I was so scared because I'm like, I'm gonna get bullied. But then that never happened. Throughout my whole high school career, I never got bullied. I never got made fun of. And if I let that control me, then I never would have been able to experience the things I did in high school. Now, in high school, I was very quiet. I have friends, but only a select few. I didn't have as many friends as I did when I was younger. I still had them. And this doesn't really pertain to confidence affecting your career, but it also affects your relationships. There were multiple people who I was friends with, quotations, friends with. that I barely spoke to. And every single time I'd go home, I would text them, I'm sorry for not talking to you in person. I'll try again next time. And when that next time came, I never spoke to them. And I mean, and it all stemmed from me being scared of being made fun of. There was this one girl in my dance class in high school who I would always apologize to for not speaking to her. Every single time I'd go to class in person, I'd like speak to her just a little bit because I always viewed her as the cool popular girl, and I never understood why she wanted to be around me. When I get to class, I'd see her, I talked to her a little bit, and then once class was over, I'd be sad. I'm like, I didn't speak to her. So then after that, I'd get on my phone and text her, be like, I'm sorry, I, I didn't speak to you today. I'll try again next time. That next time came and I never did, but she constantly stayed by my side. But there were many opportunities in high school that I could have taken, but I didn't because I let my stutter control me. I had no confidence. You know, I could have been in a movie in high school for my production class. I could have become an actress. You never know. If I did good in that movie and didn't walk away crying because I kept stuttering, then I could have been an actress, but I let me not having confidence in the way I speak dictate how that day went. And it was honestly crazy. So what had happened was the guy who was the director of the movie told me that I would have no talking roles. But then on the day of the shoot, he came into the classroom and told me, "Hey Lauren, I need you. It's your time. Like it's this is we're about to film your scene." So I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to talk. I feel confident." And then as we're walking to the location where the scene was going to take place, he told me, you have some lines." And I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Because after he told me that, I got nervous, but I still tried pushing myself to do it. Now, the first couple of takes, I did fine, but then I kept getting nervous because he's like, "You can do better, you can do better. Try to put more emphasis on this word, try to be more angry." So each time I kept getting nervous, and each time I kept stuttering so bad because I was not confident in who I was. So then I think on like the fifth take, when he said cut, I walked away and I started crying.
And one thing about me is that if I'm going to be in anything, I need that script well in advance. This allows me to be better prepared and be less nervous on shooting day. So that's why I feel like me leaving the movie set was kind of justified in a way, but you never know. If I would have stayed, then I probably would have been pursuing a career in acting right now. But again, I let my stutter and me having a lack of confidence affect my career and my life.
And that damaged an opportunity that I could have taken. It could have, like I said, it could have sprouted into something more. But to my point of how not having confidence can affect your career, it's true. I mean, it is so true. I've missed out on so many opportunities because I was not confident and I was scared and I was worried about what other people thought of me, which has put me in a bad spot. I mean, there have been countless career expos that I could have gone to that I have said no to. There have been, colleges that have wanted me. I said to no to them, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm at UTSA now, but I was scared to go to college because of the way I spoke. And if it wasn't for my parents pushing me, then I would not be where I am today. And when I was given the option of going to college on campus or online, I chose to do it online. Why? Because I was scared and I was scared of presenting and I was not confident in the way I spoke. And my confidence has really affected my career. I am at an age where I am about to graduate college and I still don't have a job. Why? Because I am scared that people would not want to hire me. I'm scared of the customers and not being patient. I'm scared of my coworkers not wanting to talk to me because I might take a little longer at getting my words out. I mean, just so much, but I still don't have a job. There have been countless opportunities where I could have gotten a job, and I've said no each time. And now I'm 21, about to graduate, and I'm still scared to get a job. I was looking at my career options last night, and I was looking at one at HEB, and it is for a food service representative at the bakery. And I was telling my dad about the position, and I start bursting into tears. Why? Because I'm scared. I'm scared and worried about what people will think if I apply. I'm scared to interview. I'm scared to be interviewed. You know what I'm saying? And I was explaining the requirements to him, and he said, "Do you have do you have all do you have all of the requirements?" And I said, "Yes, I do, but it's just the communication part that I'm worried about." And he said, "What do you mean, the communication?" And I said, "I'm worried to speak, to communicate." And I started bursting into tears. And I mean, my confidence and like fear, that's the biggest thing. If you don't have confidence and if you're afraid, then you will be driven by that. And I am a living testament of that because there have been countless opportunities that I could have taken in my life to excel my career, but I've turned them all down because I am worried that people won't have the patience for me. I'm afraid and I do not have confidence in the way I speak. I know that I mentioned in my introduction video that you have to have confidence, you know what I'm saying? You can't walk through life not being confident because people will tell and people will not want to be a, around you. And I remember me saying in that video that I'm I feel like it's best to be confident in the way I speak than to not. And to be honest, I, I'm confident, but just not 100%. I'd say I'm like 90% confident. You know what I'm saying? And to bring it back on photography, because this podcast is about photography, my confidence impacted that too. And because of it, I let people come between me and my passion. I love photography. I mean, I love taking pictures. I love just capturing the beauty of life. You know, I love capturing buildings and I love capturing, just the things around me. And when I told myself at the beginning of my career that I did not want to take pictures of people, I was already setting myself up for failure because I'm like, I know people are going to reject me. They're going to say no. They're not going to want to have their picture taken by me. They're going to look at me weird. And I already created a self-fulfilling prophecy, which came true. Some people did not want their picture taken by me. Like I mentioned in last week's episode, people were rude to me. I got yelled at. So, I mean, I had already created this world that probably wouldn't have happened if I was like, okay, I don't like taking pictures of people, but let me do it. Let me walk in confidence, and I probably would have gotten a better result. But I have mentioned, due to my confidence and letting people control my life, I quit. I quit photography at my church, and I have basically quit photography in general. Now, don't get me wrong, I still take pictures, but it's not as much as I used to. I used to, go outside and take pictures. I used to enjoy photography. I mean, photography was my passion. I always wanted to be taking pictures and capture something new. But I let what people did, what they said, get in my head, and it caused me to quit. And it was all because I was not confident in being told no. I was not confident in getting dirty looks. I was not confident in being rejected. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this life is all about rejection. You have to be you're rejected in order to get to that point where you are accepted. You know what I'm saying? And I just have not learned that yet. But one thing I'm going to start doing is putting up like post-it notes on my wall and my mirror and looking at it and telling myself who I am. I am a daughter of the King, a conqueror and overcomer. I am confident and I'm going to start, telling those things to myself because the more I believe it about me, the more it will show in my life and the more I will be less affected by what people do. I have had countless dreams of me being interviewed by employers, and in each dream, I got rejected, 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 rejected. And it was up to like, I think 15 employers who rejected me, all for the same reason. And it was because I stuttered. They're like, no, we'd rather have someone who is confident in, in the way they speak. And I just kept getting rejected, rejected. And I was dejected and I would come home crying and I wanted to give up. But I realized that I cannot give up. This world is not about giving up. If you give up, you will fail and you will never make it in life. So when I woke up from that dream, I realized that if I do get rejected in life from countless employers, I just have to pick myself up again, build my confidence and keep trying until I get that yes from that person who can see my confidence and can see how hard I work. And it's just like the guy who started Starbucks. I think he got rejected 109 times or 100 times. I'm not too sure. But he did not let each no dictate his life. At each no, he kept going. He kept trying and trying and trying until he got that one yes. The beauty of confidence, you have to have confidence in yourself and the way you speak in order to make it in life, which is what I personally feel like that you might not be true. People might have different views in that, but confidence does play a pivotal role in whether you make it in life. And I've heard countless stutterers, do TED Talks and present, and they get through it. Why? Because they're confident. And if they stayed in that fear and stayed in not being confident, then they would not be successful as they are right now. And I personally feel like my ultimate career goal is to become a public speaker who shares her story with the world. That's what I ultimately feel is my end goal. And in order to get there, I need to have full confidence and know who I am as a person in order to get there. So if you too are struggling with confidence, try putting post-it notes on your mirror or write little encouraging notes to yourself and just constantly tell yourself who you are and who you want to become. Do not let fear drive your success because if you live in fear and continue not being confident, then you probably will be homeless.
And I do not mean to sound harsh. I know that might come up as very harsh, but I'm just trying to let you guys know that you have to be confident in this life, and when you are, you will get the best results.
And that's the exact thought I have had. I'm like, if I keep going down this route, if I don't build my confidence and if I keep living in fear, then I will not be successful. I want to live the life the Lord has set for me, and that is to be successful. And I have a vision of myself being a public speaker, speaking in front of 10,000s of people. But if I keep saying this, I will never get there. So do not let your lack of confidence, and if you're fearful, don't let your fear control your life, because you will not get anywhere in life if you allow those two things to dictate it. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I definitely had a good time with this one. I really enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week. Now, a word from future Lauren about next week's episode.
Did you guys enjoy this week's episode? If you did, then tune in next week to hear about the different editing software that can be used to enhance your photos. Alrighty, bye!